So today we continue with our class of Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, and today is class number 9. Okay, and we start with Chafetz Chaim lesson a day, and we're on page 57, if you have a book, 57. And today we're learning a Sefer Shmiras Halashon. Okay, and today's topic, imperative of halachic study. Okay. The knowledge of agaric teaching regarding Lashon Hara must be complemented by the study of laws of proper speech. In the words of Medrash Mishlei 1:2, we know. Greg, please put us on mute. Greg, please put us on mute. Thank you. Thank you. To know the wisdom and Musar. To know the wisdom and Musar. Inspirational ethical instruction. If one has wisdom, there is knowledge of halacha, then he can study Musar. But if he lacks the wisdom, then he cannot study Musar. So what does it mean? so in this Sefer Shmiras Halashon, it's always in this book on the right side. So it's there are stories from a Talmud, from the Medrash, from other sources, from Mishlei, right, from Novi. And they're very inspirational, right? Inspiration is good, but we know exactly what we need to do. So inspiration is not working without details. So we're working on details, right? The Medrash's intent is clear. If person is not knowledgeable in the laws of given topic, then no amount of Musar will help him, right? So if you, for example, if you listen to an inspirational speaker, right, and he tells you that you have to learn Torah, so it's very good, like that you're motivated to learn, but you have to actually open a book or join our class. So we open books and learn what exactly says in the book. So simply inspiration is not enough. For example, a businessman thinks that a given practice is not robbery, even in fact it is. And what good will it do to inform him of the severity of the sin of the robbery? So basically, if it's a perfect example. So this guy, he does not know the laws of the robbery. Robbery means, especially in the business, there are many kinds of robbery. It could be charging interest, right? For example, from another person. And interest is not that simple. I give you one interest that our sages forbade. For example, somebody wants to borrow a sack of wheat from me, right? And then he said, "I'm going to give it back to me, to you, right?" So for example, the wheat, it costs like $30 a sack. So and after 1 year, it's going to go up for $35. So so that's what sages forbid, because it is like interest. So in this case, he has to give me the just value of the sack that he borrowed from me, which is $30. So it's not such a simple law. So unless you learn it from the book, so you would not know. The same applies to all other negative commandments. So I mean, you can tell this businessman that severity of the robbery, that you're going to burn in Gehenna, and you're going to come in resurrection. You're not going to be resurrected with the dead, for example, if he tries to charge interest. But if he does not know what interest is, it's not going to help him. Therefore, one must study the Torah's laws to know what is permitted and what is forbidden. He must all learn the Musar teaching, which inspire a person to fear HaShem. So that's like two separate parts. And that's what we're trying to do in all our studies. So the Musar, which is this book, or you listen to the lectures, Rabbi Reuven, Rabbi Mizrahi, right? And then you learn laws. One does not go without the other. Through the study of such teaching, one arouses his soul toward the observance of the Torah, aside from the fulfillment of the positive commandment. Right, as it says here, fear HaShem, your God. It says Dvarim 10:20. So basically, Musar is needed to arouse in ourselves the Yiras Shamayim, fear of heaven. Continue. And so it is with regard to Shmiras Halashon. Of what benefit will all of the Musar of the world in this world be if one convinces himself that a given forbidden statement is not category of Lashon Hara? So basically, if the guy does not know that this is Lashon Hara, so whatever you tell him, I mean, not to speak Lashon Hara, is not going to help him in any way. You understand? Because in his mind, this is not Lashon Hara. So in order to know the difference between statement that is Lashon Hara and not Lashon Hara, you have to learn extensively. Or if he tells himself that the laws Lashon Hara do not apply when speaking of certain individual, when in fact they do. So basically he tells himself, so, and as we're going to learn, Be'ezras HaShem, that in some cases you're allowed to talk about some individuals in some specific circumstances, but then not in that specific. So he just creates himself an exception. Therefore, it is imperative that one know what is and what is not in a category of Lashon Hara, according to Halacha. Okay, so a person must know the laws. This study should be complemented by inspirational study of the relevant Agadic teachings. So these Agadic teachings are going to come in a form of the stories from Novi, from Medrash, from other things on this Sefer Shmiras Halashon. Okay, we stop here. Any questions? Please ask now about what we just said. Okay, no problem. Okay, so we continue then with our class. As we said, today's Kitzur Shulchan Aruch class, and we start. Last time we started laws pertaining to the cleanliness. So just so we're in Halacha number 5, page 33, and just a summary. So we're not allowed to pray or say blessings in a place that is not clean. It is not clean, right? So we continue with Halacha 5, but if you're interested, you let me know after the class. I can send you the classes, whatever we said before. So for now, we continue with CF5. Okay, so okay, so number 5. The excrement of a very young child, which is not yet malodorous, is not included in prohibition. So we said that if there is excrement in a room, so you have to move away, right? So do not stay close to it. Okay, so if it's very young child that does not smell, so is not included. Okay, let's see. When an infant reaches the age when other infants of that age are capable of eating kizayis, one of the 5 species of grain, even if only in a cooked dish. Okay, so let's see. So basically, it's some. So when these children can eat this mizonos grains, one of the 5 species, so it means they already grow up. So it's not only mother milk; it's all of this bread, right? Bread. So 25. It says Shulchan Aruch 76:7. When one is unsure if there is standing urine in a room. No, I apologize, wrong. An olive-size portion, 0.6 and 1.9 fluid ounces. Okay, so basically we go today. We go by approximately 1 ounce, right? So most of the poskim today say that it's 1 ounce is a kizayis. So kizayis, as we said before, it's translated as olive bulk, but olive, as we said before, the olives in the time of the Talmud were much bigger than the olives today. So today 1 olive does not weigh 1 ounce, even the biggest of them. Okay. So kizayis is a let's say one fluidansus, or what is it, like 28, 30 grams. Okay. So 1 second, 26. So, and they say, what is these 5 species? They say wheat, barley, rye, oats, and spelt. Okay, those 5 species on which we say baramine mizoines, blessing when we want to eat. In the same time frame, so 1 second. So we're talking about the infant that is capable to eat in kizayis, one of the 5 species, even only if cooked dish. So it's not a bread, but let's say it's some pasta, right? In the time frame that adult could eat half loaf of bread. So this half loaf of bread terminology is is what considered to be the act of eating, and we're going to learn that a person, in order to say bracha, he has to eat the food in this period of time, right? Half loaf of bread, 27. This refers to half of the standard loaf in the times of our Mishnah, which would suffice for 2 meals. Okay. Since the half of loaf is the amount eaten at 1 meal. Okay. Right, so continue. Opinions regarding the length of the time is ranging from 2 to 9 minutes. Any eating that takes longer is not considered to be continuous eating, but 2 separate acts. See Mishnah Brura. So basically, it's actually it's in everything. So we're learning in our Shabbos class that, for example, if you drink Kiddush wine, so you have to finish in this period of time frame, right? From 2 to 9 minutes. So just remember that. So 9 is very, very lenient. So we're trying to finish eating whatever quicker than that. Preferable time frame, it's 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, so if this baby can eat the kizayis of this mizoines in 2 to 9 minutes, continue. In the Sefer Migdal Oz by Hagaon Yaakov Emden Ben Tzvi, may his memory be blessed, it is written that in this stage is reached when the child becomes 1 year old. Okay, so they give us time frame. One must distance himself when engaging in sacred matters from the child excrement and from urine. So basically they say that at 1 year old, his excrement starts smelling. Okay, that's what it is, and we have to distance from that excrement. However, however, it is a good and worthy practice to distance oneself from the excrement of 8-day-old infant. So, so what Kitzur is saying, so halacha is, so let's say the approximately 1 year old, but preferably, so if you can, if it's not too hard for you, so it's better to go by like from after 8 year olds, so just stay away from this excrement. Okay. Any questions? Any comments? Okay. If any questions, please stop me. Okay. So sieve number 6. Human excrement, when it is that does not emit foul odor, is likewise an excrement, and likewise excrement of cat and of menia. Who is menia? A small animal resemble a cat. Right? Some identify an animal as a marten, a weasel-like creature. So some things. So basically, it's so human and cat and this animal that smell bad. And the excrement of Tarnegol adumi, also known as Englischer, Heiner, or Induk. 29. This type of fowl, similar to the chicken or turkey. Okay, so looks like they have a especially bad smell. One must distance himself from them before engaging in sacred matters. Commentary. According to Maggid Abraham, the excrement of these animals has the same status of that of the human, and one must distance himself from them even when they do not emit foul odor. Okay, so we didn't get, we're going to say later on how far it has to distance, but so far, even if that does not smell, the human waste or this animal waste, this that we said, he has to distance himself. One must distance himself from then engage in sacred matter. Okay, we said that. The excrement of the other animals, beasts and birds, generally do not emit a foul odor, and one need not distance himself from them. Okay, very clear. However, in the event that they emit foul odor, and likewise with regard to the carcass that emits foul odor, or anything that emits foul odor due to decay commentary, one does not have to distance himself from something that emits offensive odor in its natural state, like a tar. So basically, if it does not smell good, like paint, right? You just painted your wall. So I mean, so some people, I mean, for some people it's very offensive. Odor for some people there is not. So it's natural odor. It's not like something decaying or right. So that's fine. So if you're okay with that smell, you don't have to distance yourself. If you're not, if it bothers you, so you have to distance. That's a general rule. And likewise, so everything that smells bad, you have to distance yourself. So if something is a little offensive, but you're okay with that, I mean, like paint or tar, so you're not obligated. And likewise with regard to the chicken coop. Okay, chicken coop 32. Since a large amount of excrement is present there, it is especially repulsive and therefore share the halakhic status of human excrement. Mishnah Brura. See also appendix of Kitzur editorial glosses. So it's I don't know if you ever been to a chicken coop, but it's the smell is horrible. Okay, one must distance himself from them. So from all of these bad smells. Likewise, one must distance himself from melodious waters. What does it mean? 33. If the odor cause people distress. Okay, I'm not sure what was in the waters. Maybe like okay. Continue. Steeping waters in which flax or hemp is soaked. 34. As a part of the process of separating the fibers from these plants, they are soaked in pools of water, which is then emit foul odor. Okay, I'm not sure, but it says does not smell good, so I have to stay away. And one must distance himself from them as he would from excrement. So that's all for CF6. Any questions for what we just said? Okay. So continue with CF number 7. Excrement which is so dry that rolling it causes it to crumble is no longer retains the halachic status of excrement, but is considered to be dust, like dust, as long as this does not mean a foul odor. So basically, it's if it's dry up and you're somewhere outside and it does not smell, so you don't have to distance yourself for amos, so you can stand like with your back to it, of course. However, if no odor because it's froze due to the cold, since it can still return to original state, like for example right now, when the warmer weather comes, it is still remain the status of the excrement. So means that you have to distance yourself for amos. Excrement that was covered with snow has the status of the covered excrement, which is okay, right? As we said before. Okay. So we finished this. See if number 8, unless you have questions. Number 8. How far must one distance himself from excrement? Just one second. How far must one distance himself from excrement for him to be permitted to engage in sacred matters? So now we got to the distance, right? If the excrement was behind him, he must distance himself 4 amos away from where the odor can no longer be detected. So basically, like so he has to go away until he can still smell it, and then at the point it stops. He does not smell this bad odor. So from that he counts this 4 amos. 35. Above and see if one below. So and it has to be behind him. Okay, just remind behind. Above the CF1, we learned that the prohibition of engaging in sacred matters in the presence of the filth is learned from the verse, "So your camp shall be holy." Right? According to the tradition of our sages, a personal camp encompasses 4 amos around him. So 4 amos around you, so it's like 8 feet, 7 to 8 feet. So it's your personal space. Thus, if there is any smell of the filth within these 4 amos, his camp is not holy. So my camp is 4 amos, like as we said, 7 to 8 feet around me. So it should be. So I have to distance this 4 amos from the smell, not from the source of smell, but from this when the smell ends. And he may not engage in the sacred matters. Mishnah Brura 79:2. It was 35. Continue. And this applies even for one who does not smell the odor. He must distance himself a required amount if he were to able to smell it. So if it's to clarify, so if it smells, he has to go until the smell ends. And from there he counts 4 amos. If he does not smell, he just distances 4 amos from this object. 36. For example, he has a disorder that inhibits his sense of smell. For example, he has a stuffy nose, right? That doesn't, just because it does not smell, does not remove the problem. Okay. So it says he must distance himself as required amount as if he were able to smell. So for example, so if he has a stuffy nose and just because his nose stuffy, that does not mean that this excrement does not smell or some bad stuff, right? So he has to go away, I don't know, 10 feet, 20 feet, whatever he needs to, how far he needs to go, and he can pray there. If the excrement does not emit foul odor, it is sufficient for him to distance himself 4 amos from the excrement itself, as we said before. So that's clear halacha. Continue. So, okay. If the excrement was in front of him, that's the problem. So basically, it's like so when it's in front of him, like when he's praying, it could be, especially Shmona Esrei, it's like he's bowing down to this excrement, right? That's the problem. 37. That which one can see without turning his head is considered to be in front of him. So it's not so basically Mishnah Brura 79:5. So Mishnah Brura says it's not exactly in front of him. So if he can see it with his own eyes without turning his head, that's in front of him. So it could be a little to the left, to the right, but it's considered to be in front of him. So one more time, if the excrement was in front of him, he must distance himself as far as his eyes can see. So meaning the other solution would be just turning his back to it, right? As we just learned before. But if he cannot, for example, he wanted to pray facing the east, right, as we're supposed to do. So he just go there, right, go past this and have it behind his back or something, or like on his side at least, so he cannot see it, or far away. So basically, he's not allowed to see it. There is until he cannot see anymore. Even at night, when he cannot see, he must distance himself from the excrement the amount of space that he would be required to distance himself if he were able to see during the day. So it's basically, it does not matter if he see it, like if during the night there is no light. For example, he wants to say some prayers by heart, right? Which is most of the time there is no problem if he knows by heart, no problem, right? But this excrement or whatever this foul smelling object is in front of him. So, and just because it's dark does not mean that he is allowed to say it. If the excrement is on either side, one should be stringent and consider as it is it in front of him. So basically, don't have it exactly on your side. So make it more like behind you, and turn himself so that he should be positioned behind him, right? So positioned behind him. Mishnah Brura 38. He should turn his entire body. It is not sufficient to merely turn his head so that he is not facing it. Mishnah Brura, okay. Biur Halacha to Mishnah Brura. So basically, in all other cases, as we're going to say about not properly dressed women, right? So it's not enough just to turn your head away. So you have to turn your body away from that sin. Okay. Sif number 9. Regarding a room in which a congregation was praying, the excrement was found there. Okay. Even if it is behind the chazan and further than 4 amos from the place from which the odor is no longer detected, nevertheless he must wait silently until it is taken out or covered, because a congregational setting, just 1 second, because in congregation setting it is not possible that there will not be at least one person in a congregation who will be within the 4 amos, right, from the place from which the odor can no longer be detected. And the person would then be prohibited from listening and following along with the prayers that Chazan is reciting. So you can ask, what are we talking about? So in a house, it's understandable, right? So so you have a young child, right? You have a baby. So and baby, it can smell even through the diapers, right? Or if your wife is changing the diapers, so of course it can smell. It's very simple. But in a shul, when somebody brought a young child, and this young child did number 2, and he's in the midst of the people, and it does not smell good. So basically, they have to stop praying until they remove this child, because for sure some of these people within the 4 amos from the smell from this child, unless the place is huge, which is I don't think it's very practical. Okay. Number 39, commentary. The Chazan prays aloud so that the people may follow along and respond amen. Okay, so it's we're talking about repetition of Shmona Esrei, for example. Right? Hence, in the middle of Psuki de Zimra, when there is no congregation responses, a Chazan need not stop his prayer as long as the excrement is situated behind him, and he is 4 amos away from the place where the odor can no longer be detected. Okay, Mishnah Brura 79.7. For related halacha, see below 15.4. Okay, so So Psuki de Zimra. So let's understand what Psuki de Zimra. So Psuki de Zimra is first part. So after we say Karbonos in the morning, we say Psuki de Zimra. So in Psuki de Zimra, just in the beginning, you say one main, right? And then that's it until the Ishtabach. There is no more mains. So so basically, this Chazan can continue praying, and he does not have to stop. So other people have to deal with the smell, but Chazan does not have to stop communal prayers. Okay. So let's continue then. Number 10. One who prays and later found that there had been excrement in a place where he had prayed. If that place was one where it was reasonable to suspect that perhaps excrement would be there, and he was negligent and did not check the area before praying, since the Shmona Esrei prayer in the is a place of sacrifice, the rule that relates to the sacrifice apply. The offering of the wicked is abomination. So it's very clear, right? It's Mishle. And it is not acceptable by HaShem. So basically they say, if it was reasonable to suspect that it would be excrement if you have small children there, for example, right? So commentary number 40 says, there is within the 4 amos of the place where he prayed. So basically, the way I understand what it says here, so it did not smell. It did not smell. If it would smell, he would realize that there is bad smell. So it did not smell. So but it was there. Very, very close to him. Okay, and 41, for example, it was placed frequent by young children who often dory their surroundings. Okay. No problem. So today maybe they do not dory as much, but still they young children can take their diapers off very simply, right? And they can leave it there, whatever, lying on the floor, under the bed, or whatever they left them. So, and if he had the reason to suspect, but in this case he would have the reason to suspect, so his prayer, Shmona Esrei, is not acceptable. So basically, not acceptable, meaning that it was abominations, it's like a sacrifice, so he has to pray it again. Okay. According to prayer recited improperly, out of negligence, and is not accepted, he must therefore repeat Shmona Esrei prayer. Right? So that's like a punishment for him in some sense. Because the first Shmona Esrei was said in vain, so he has to repeat it. Likewise, with respect to recitation of Shema, which is a biblical obligation, so Shmona Esrei is rabbinical, this is biblical obligation, and does not entail question of reciting blessing in vain. Okay, he must repeat the recitation of Shema if excrement was found, but without accompanying blessing, such as HaBa or HaBa. So basically, when we say Shema, we have blessings before, blessings after. So in this case, if he prayed in such a place, so he repeats the Shema, but he's not obligated to recite the blessings. So what is the difference? The Shema is biblical and blessings are rabbinical. That's commentary. So it says, and he does not does not entail question of reciting blessing in vain. 42. Since the Shema itself does not contain any blessing. So in Shema there is only text. There is no blessings. Right? Okay, so let's do one more time this commentary. So he must repeat the recitation of the Shema if excrement was found. 43. This accordance with the rule of, in any case of the doubt as to the existence of the biblical obligation, we must treat it stringently. So that's the rule. If, as we said before, if we have a doubt about biblical obligation, we go stringently, meaning strangely meaning that we would need to repeat it, right? One classic example would be Birchas Hamazon, right? So if he said Birchas Hamazon, or he was not sure, did I say, did it not say it, stuff like that. I mean, I'm not sure how it's happened, but possible person under the stress, whatever is it. So in this case, he's obligated to recite Birchas Hamazon. But if because it's biblical, but if he ate apple and time passed and he was not sure, did I say blessing after apple or not? So since it is rabbinical, he does not repeat. Okay. Continue. So he repeats Shema, but without accompanying blessing, such as HaBa, which in the morning of Olam. Okay, it's before the Shema. So it says 44, the blessing after Yishtabach that are recited before Kriya Shema from Yotzer Or until Gal Israel. Okay, so basically we don't say these blessings, are known as Birchas Kriya Shema. The blessing Kriya Shema, according to Mishnah Brura, however, one is required to repeat those blessings as well. Okay, so Kitzur Shulchan Aruch says do not repeat. Mishnah Brura, which was later, so he concluded repeat with the blessings. Okay, so the bottom line is we go by Mishnah Brura. So he considered many sources. Okay, so we trust him. Okay, so continue. The same applies also with regard to all of the blessings that were recited where excrement was found. Even Birchas Hamazon, he does not recite it again. Okay, so one more time. The same rule applies with regard to all of the other blessings where the excrement was blessings that were recited, where excrement was found. Even Birchas Hamazon, he does not recite again. So what does it mean? Although it is biblically mandated blessing, okay, does not recite number 46. Tosafos to Eruvim 64a and Rosh, unsure whether the blessing recited in the presence of the fields, excrement, that one negligently did not look for must be repeated. Okay, so according to these authorities, the Tosafos and Rosh say do not repeat. Okay, very nice. Shema is repeated in such a case because there is no question of reciting blessing in vain. So, okay, so they say in a case of the Birchas Hamazon, so it's after we eat bread, so there are blessings for sure. Here in a Shema, there are no blessings. But okay, let's finish and explain. Blessings, however, are never recited in case of the doubtful obligation, and therefore they are not repeated. See Mishnah Brura, Biur Halacha, Mishnah Brura rules. However, that the blessing of the Shema are recited again in such a case. Okay. Regarding the other blessing, see Mishnah Brura with Biur Halacha. So basically, Mishnah Brura says, so you say Shema, so they say on Birchas Hamazon, you do not say, but Shema you say, and Shmona Esrei you also repeat. So even though there are blessings in Shmona Esrei, Shmona Esrei, looks like this blessing, so the Shmona Esrei, as we said, is instead of daily sacrifice. So basically, if he did not bring daily sacrifice, he has to bring. So it's not exactly, Shmona Esrei is not exactly comparable to Birchas Hamazon. So Birchas Hamazon we're not obligated to say. So we only obligated to say Birchas Hamazon only when we ate bread. But daily sacrifices we are obligated to bring. So that's basically the difference. If, however, it was a place where there was no reason to suspect that there would be excrement there, for example, they don't have small children, in which case he was not negligent in praying there. Oh, no small children, not elderly people, right? And then even with respect to the prayer, he was fulfilled his obligation after the fact. Okay, so basically, if there were no reason for him to suspect that it would be this excrement in a room, and there were, I'm not sure, maybe somebody visited that his house and he was not there, and they had a couple, and they changed the diaper, and somehow this diaper fell on the floor. It's possible. It's possible. There were no reason for him to suspect, and he did not smell it, but he prayed next to the diaper. So basically, he's good after the fact. Okay. Because one more time, it was no reason for him to suspect. If urine was found in a place where he prayed, even if the place was one of which there was a reason to suspect that urine would be found there, he has fulfilled his obligation after the fact with respect to the prayer. So urine, as we said before, is not as offensive as excrement. Okay. So even if it was there, and it was a reason to suspect, he does not repeat his prayers. Okay, no problem. Continue, number 11. One who passes gas is prohibited from engaging in sacred matter until the odor dissipates. So that's a big problem, especially we're going to learn Be'ezer HaShem with tefillin. That's a big offense, to pass gas when somebody is wearing tefillin. So continue. If his fellow passed gas, so we're talking about the shul, right? He must likewise wait for odor to dissipate, or he can move away, as understandable, except when he is engaged in Torah study, in which case he is not required to wait until odor of the gas passed by his fellow to dissipate. So why that? Right? So for prayers not allowed. For Torah study there is no problem. What is the difference? Number 47. The prohibition in engaging in sacred matters when there is a full order that has no tangible source is a rabbinic nature. So meaning, so when excrement there is a tangible source, right? But when somebody pass gas, so there is no tangible source. There is no source. I mean, it's just air. The sages did not extend, so it's a rabbinical. There it's biblical, he's rabbinical. The sages did not extend their decree to the cases that would cause the disruption of the Torah study. Mishnah Brura 79:30. So from here we see, like a side note, how important the Torah study is. Okay, so he closed his nose and he can continue, basically. With regard to the recitation of the Shema, however, he must distance himself from the order. Shulchan Aruch 79:9, Mishnah Brura 79:32. Okay. So it's very important not to interrupt the Torah study. Okay, continue. So sif number 12. So let me see how much is this. Okay, so, all right, another few pages. All right, number 12, regarding the outhouse. So the outhouse is, for those who do not know, it's a restroom outside, right? Outhouse. Regarding the outhouse commentary, it is questionable whether the law of Beis Hakisei refers to here applies to the bathroom on today. Igros Moshe and Evan Hazer. So what is the difference between outhouse in the olden days and our bathroom? So in the outhouse, this it's like a hole in the ground, and there is like a structure around it. So all of this excrement, all of these things are going to stay there forever. I mean, are going to stay there for now, right? It's staying there. So in our bathroom, once you flush, there is no such a thing, right? So some people go stringently because it could be some residue, some this and that, whatever. So that's a different matter. But our laws is not exactly like outhouse, but let's learn anyway. So one more time, regarding an outhouse, even if it has walls and does not contain any excrement. Interesting. I'm not sure how is it possible. We're going to see. One must distance himself from it. 49. The excrement has been cleaned out. So okay. One must distance himself from it. So commentary. The outer walls of the outhouse have the same status as the excrement, as outlined above. See Mishnah Brura, further discussion. So basically, even if they cleaned it, I'm not sure how is it possible to completely clean it. I'm not sure. I would say it's not possible, but even if it's possible somehow to clean it completely, so still the walls have the status of this excrement. So he has to distance himself from these walls. Of course, there is no smell for him, as we said, it's clean, but these walls is considered to be the excrement. So he has to distance 4 hours. Okay, continue. Therefore, a bench or a seat that was made with a hole in the middle, under which the chamber pot is placed, so that the people can relieve themselves while sitting upon it. 51, similar to a toilet, but we see today, like for elderly people, they have something like that. So I mean, they cannot sit down on the toilet, so that's what they have for them. Okay, chamber pot upon it. Even if they remove the chamber pot, so basically it's clean, right? The chamber pot is removed; it's not there. It is clean. And cover the hole on the bench with a board, or today they have with this elderly people, they have cover, the plastic cover, doesn't matter. Nevertheless, this bench retains the status of the outhouse. So from this you have to distance yourself 4 amos. For example, if somebody is I don't know, is a nurse in a nursing home, or he's visiting somebody in a hospital, and it's time for mincha, and he has to pray, and that's the only time he has to pray now. So he has to make sure. So I think it's very practical example that there is no such this chamber pots right around. And before engaging in sacred matter, one must remove it from the house or a room, or completely cover it. Okay, because as we said, so it's considered to be like status of the chamber pot itself. Even though there is no excrement, everything was removed from there. However, in the case of a chair designated for sitting and covered with a cushion upon which to sit, and only when necessary the cushion is removed, and one would relieve himself there, and after which the cushion would be replaced. In this case, one can be lenient and not regard it as having the same status as the outhouse. So basically, we're talking about, of course, it's an olden days. So somebody, let's say this elderly person, or maybe even rich person, would have this chair with a hole in the middle, right? So if he needs to go, so he would go like he would remove this cushion, go number 2. Somebody would remove it, this chamber pot, take it out, stuff like that. He would put his cushion back, maybe like put some board on top to cover the hole, cushion on top. So it's not considered, it's not the same as a chamber house, right? Outhouse, no problem. Okay, any questions, please? If not, continue. So, number 13. Regarding the chamber pot designated for excrement. So I apologize for this topic, but that's what they came up. Okay. Chamber pot for excrement, 52. This equally applies to bedpans. Chamber pot, I'm not sure what is the difference between chamber pot and bedpans, but okay. Or urinal, the law is as follows. If they made of earthenware or wood, they have halakhic status of the outhouse. even if they are clean and emit no odor. So basically, so it's very important what they are made of. And B'ezrat Hashem, we're going to learn this how it's applied in the laws of kashering of utensils, right? So because they're very porous and they would absorb the taste, the smell. So in case of the cooking utensil, they would absorb the taste, and in this case they would absorb the smell. So it doesn't matter how you clean it, you cannot clean it completely because the smell is inside. If it's made of earthenware or what is it, wood. Okay. Furthermore, even if one put water inside them to turn them over so that they rest on their openings, it does not affect the change of this halacha. So basically, the whole pot become this outhouse. Even if one put them under the bed, it does not affect the change in the halacha, because the construction of our beds is such they do not constitute halakhic barrier. Okay, both inside and out. Rather, one must remove them from the room or cover it. So if you have a so the same would apply to the most of the plastic things. So basically, you have to remove. If you have small child, you have to remove it from the room, or you go to another room, whatever you prefer. If they were made out of metal or glass, metal or glass they do not absorb, right? Then, if they are washed well and do not emit foul odor, one need not distance himself from them. Okay. So since it's possible inside and out, right? So wash them inside and out. So basically, he does not have to distance himself because, as we said, they do not absorb. A mouth of a swine. Just 1 second. What is the connection? Since its nature to burrow into excrement, has the halachic status of the chamber pot. Even if it just emerged from the river. The washing in the river does not help to remove this status. So basically, as we know, the pigs that eat everything. So the mouth is like this chamber pot, right? So I think they go number 2 and then eat it also. I think they eat their babies and stuff like that. So okay, so even if it just came from the river, still the same status. Number 14. In the bathhouse as well, it is forbidden to speak or think about the sacred matters. Okay, so when he's naked, right? It is further forbidden to say any names designated for Holy One, blessed be He. Even in mundane language, there is language other than Hebrew, such as God in German, 56, or God in English. Okay, see. So all of these names that we use for HaShem, so we don't say them in a shower, basically, or Bog in Polish and Russian. When in a bathhouse or in a filthy streets. So basically, in the olden days, they would put all the filth like outside. So or you what would be the example? Maybe you somewhere outside and you need to pray, and there is a dumpster, right? So and it smells bad. So basically, you're not allowed to pray there. You have to distance yourself. Continue. It is likewise forbidden to greet one's fellow in these places with the word shalom, peace, right? Because shalom is one of the names of the Holy One, blessed be He. As the words in Shoftim 6:24 states, and he called him HaShem Shalom. So it's very important. Not so Shalom is one of the name of HaShem. So basically, it's be careful. For example, if you have a son named Shalom or you have a friend whose name is Shalom, so he's a bathroom, or you're in a bathroom, so don't call him. Regarding the person whose name is Shalom, okay, here we go. Regarding the person whose name is Shalom, some authorities prohibit calling him by his name in the above places, and some permit it. Since a person saying the name does not mean refer this idea to HaShem, to HaShem's name of Shalom, but only to mention the name of the person, but only the name of the person. Okay, so, okay. But still we're trying to be careful. Commentary 58. Since HaShem is called Shalom, because he makes peace in the world. Right, so Tosafos to Shabbos 10b. This opinion maintains that this is only prohibited to use the word Shalom to convey the meaning of the peace, such as greeting. Okay. Continue. The custom follows this the custom follow his lenient opinion, but it is proper for one who fears HaShem, heaven, to follow stringent opinion. So meaning, do not call him with the name Shalom. Commentary 59. When calling a person named Shalom, he can either swallow the last consonant, Shalom, or pronounce slightly different, Shalom. So basically not to use Hashem's name. Okay. Number 15. It is forbidden to speak the words of the Torah or holiness. 16. In a contrast to halacha pertaining to the field, it is permitted to think the sacred matters in presence of erva. Okay, so it's very big difference. So one more time from the beginning, and we're going to explain. It is forbidden to speak the words of the Torah or holiness facing erva. Okay, what is erva? The term erva generally refers to the private parts of the body, but see the following sieve. Okay, so basically private parts of the body, your or somebody else. Whenever whether one a erva or another. Okay, as we said, commentary, even that of non-Jew, and even that of young boy or a girl. 63. According to Rama, it is permitted when facing the erva of a boy younger than 9 and a girl younger than 3. Okay, so a girl younger than 3, a boy younger than 9, so they consider to be babies, according to Rama. Okay, so, however, so basically, here's a definition of erva. So we're trying to go by more stringent opinion, of course, not to think of the Torah when you or speak of the Torah when you facing these things. However, when necessary for the performance of the mitzvah of circumcision, like this moil, like he has no choice, right? It is permitted to recite the blessing of the circumcision facing the erva of the baby, but it's, of course, it's less than 3-year-old, of course. Even closing one's eyes so as not to see the erva is not effective. As we said, for example, it's not properly clad woman, so we can adjust it because you close your eyes, it's not going to work. 64. Or if it is a night, and he cannot see it, or if he's blind. So basically, if he facing this erva, somebody's private parts, but we're going to extend, it's not only private parts. So we say just because he closed his eyes, it's not enough, right? So as long as he facing it. So basically, it presents the problem. I'll give you like the most common example where it presents the problem when you have a guest over on your Shabbos, right? And you have some not observant people, for example, or people who think that they're observant, but she is not dressed properly. Right? If she's, for example, she's a married woman and she does not cover her hair, so it's erva. Or she has a long sleeve, not a short sleeve, like above the elbow, so it's erva, or short skirt or stuff like that. So it's all erva. So just because you close the eyes, it's not going to help. Rather, he must turn his face and body, right? So face and body away, so that he is not facing it. Okay, so I think we can stop here.